Well, we're just right around the corner from the start of the 2020 NFL season. Can you believe it? We've made it to this point already. And here with me today to talk all about how training camp is going for the 49ers, KPIX 5's Vern Glenn. How's it going, Vern?
Pretty good. Hey, we take it one day at a time, as the cliche goes. And hey, so it goes with the 49ers. Balls are going to be in the air for real a week from Sunday.
Well, and it's been just a totally unusual offseason to say the least. And how are the 49ers adapting to both the cancellation of the preseason and also a delayed start to training camp?
Katie, we've all had to adapt for this one. Even me showing up with my little camera gear and getting my temperature checked and answering my COVID questions. And then you're allowed in this one little rectangle to shoot everything. And you got about 15 minutes to do it. And then you got to get out of there. But for the players, it's been strange. I mean, there's been no preseason games, no OTAs, no rookie minicamp, none of that. And even now, the way they do these practices, players get tested every single day. And then they work in little quadrants by position, whether it's on the practice field or in the stadium next door. Most recently, they've been working in the stadium because they want to get used to the sight lines, the pumped in fake noise, all these situations, anything that you do to replicate game conditions. They don't normally tackle to the ground. I mean, they'll hit you a little bit. Quarterback is off limits. But other than that, that's pretty much the way it's been going. Also, thanks to Mike Shanahan, or Kyle Shanahan, I should say, they got the dopest hip-hop music playing all through practice. Love that.
It'll be interesting to see the crowd noise, the implemented crowd noise that won't be real fans, of course, for at least the first few games of the season. Hey, last year, after an unsuccessful trip to the Super Bowl for the San Francisco 49ers, how can this team really avoid that dreaded runner-up hangover going into this year?
Ah, yes, the Super Bowl hangover, the inability for teams to return to the biggest stage there is. Hey, let's just put it right on the table. The Super Bowl last year is known for three major things: the fourth quarter collapse, the overthrow Jimmy Garoppolo to Emmanuel Sanders in the end zone. If that connection is made, we're talking about a whole different kind of game. And Pat Mahomes on 3rd and 15 and completing that pass to extend that drive and then get the momentum back and eventually win that game, even though Nick Bosa was held on 3rd and 15. But the 49ers, look at that. They chewed it up, they've digested it, and that fuels this mantra of having this be a revenge tour, so to speak. That's how they're treating this particular season. I think the 49ers actually have a shot at this, Katie, because Kyle Shanahan, let's face it, this is the second time that he's been at the helm of an offense that has blown fourth quarter leads to the eventual Super Bowl champion, and he's been on the short end of this one. So Kyle comes back. This is another shot at it. He's got basically, give or take, the same team. Players have bought into his scheme. There's a lot of veterans on there that also kind of have their eyes on the prize, that are still hungry. And then the young guys want to prove themselves to get some playing time. It'll be a really good look at a mobile quarterback that has added some weapons offensively.
Well, the 49ers this summer suffered a rash of injuries. So do you think that any of that is going to change your outlook for their season?
Well, we go back and forth on this one. In fact, Tavon Austin, the wide receiver, he just went on IR. Jason Verrett pulled a little hamstring yesterday. Hamstrings have just been rampant all through this team. But again, Shanahan said that he thinks injuries have been kind of like the theme all throughout the league, because you don't stretch enough, you don't hydrate enough. I mean, players' routines are certainly off, and so it's just been a thing. But he also seems to think, though, by week one, by next week, he expects the prime time players to be back in practice. I'm talking about Nick Bosa, who hasn't played, even Fred Warner, who's got the green dot helmet on the defense, is calling sick. He's on the COVID list. So he expects all these guys to come off and be ready to go week one. Even Deebo Samuel, who's been out with a broken foot, has been running routes on the sidelines. I tell you what, last Sunday, half of the projected starters were either resting or rehabbing.
Wow.
How about that?
They've been ravaged with injuries this summer, but also this team faces one of the toughest in the leagues. The NFC West is looking like it might just be one of the hardest to beat in pro football this year. So can the 49ers stay atop the Rams and the Seahawks?
All due respect to the NFC South, the NFC West is the best division in football. Katie, they got all four teams that are playoff contenders. And I know much is talked about the Rams, who have been the subject of the Hard Knocks HBO special, along with the Chargers. And everybody talks about Seattle. Seattle's like the ex-girlfriend, the ex that walks in that you can push all the buttons. I mean, they just know you too well. But I think the 49ers can handle their business. I expect them to at least split with the Seahawks. I expect them to beat the Rams twice. But the Arizona Cardinals, I mean, that is the wild card on this one, because the Cardinals have played them tough twice last year, could have won both games. I mean, the 49ers really had to scramble to win those games. So Arizona has vastly improved, and I'll tell you, as much as you push them and try and redirect the questions, it's all going to be about, hey, we're getting ready for the Arizona Cardinals. We're not looking any further than that.
Their mind is made up for that first game of this season. Thank you, Vern, so much for hanging out with me today and talking all things 49ers. And we'll get to see what the answer is to that question mark Arizona team, because the team is kicking off its season at home against the Cardinals. Katie Johnston for KPIX 5.